It's only a game, so they say. But sometimes the game and the players mean just a little more. Tonight, New York and Houston join hands and honor a player and person that has meant so much to both cities. Andy Pettitte, welcome home. From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's game 2 of a 3-game series between the Astros and the New York Yankees. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby to see what will happen in Andy Pettitte's final game. And it'll be Paul Clemens pitching for the Houston Astros, trying to snap a 13-game losing streak. But Pettitte is finishing on a strong note so far, Ash.
255 career wins. That's pretty strong right there on its own. He picked up 37 as a member of the Astros. One of the great Yankees of all time in that pitching rotation.
He's never had a losing season. He currently has a record of 10-11. But what a tremendous pitcher he's been throughout his career, 255 wins. And he's known especially for his work in the postseason,
where he has won 19 times, more than anybody else, by far with that figure. Andy Pettitte, of course, has pitched in just a load of postseason. 32 different series he's pitched in. So a lot of experience there. Again, 19-11. 44 starts in the postseason. Andy Pettitte has shown that he can handle any pressure from any situation. One of the greats.
So as we look back on his career, we see that playoff career with all the opportunities with those great Yankee teams. But he would usually be the guy who would pitch the second game of a given postseason series, and that could be a key game.
Well, it could certainly be that, and he did it very well. But he's pitched with some other great pitchers, Roger Clemens certainly among them. And interesting that we would have that Pettitte-Clemens matchup tonight, even though not the same two guys exactly. But Andy Pettitte brings so much with him, and it's been interesting to watch the way the Yankees are finishing up. Mariano Rivera has had the big tour this year, but Andy Pettitte announcing his retirement, and this is a big one to do right here in front of his home folks in Houston.
That's what he really likes, the fact that so many of his family and friends will be able to see him pitch this game tonight. And coming up next, Julia Morales has more on Andy's thoughts of his years with the Astros and helping to lead them to their first World Series in 2005. We'll have more on Andy the Astro in just a moment.
Between the Astros and the Yankees, a big crowd expected for tonight's game, and I expect a few from Deer Park. That's home to Andy Pettitte, who will be making his final start here tonight in Houston. It's a guy the fans loved very much when he was here in Houston. He's been reflecting back on that time. He helped lead this team to the pennant in 2005 when he switched to the National League for just 3 years, 2004 to 2006. And like I said, he's been reflecting back on that time, knowing that this last start was coming up. It's our Geico quote of the day. He said, "It was great. If I wasn't going to go back to the Yankees, I wanted to come home and hopefully be able to do something special here." Well, taking a look back at those years statistically that he was with the Astros from 2004 to 2006, 37 wins, the number that jumps out to me in his 3 years with Houston there. A 3.38 ERA, his best year being in 2005 when the Astros won the National League pennant. Good numbers there. But this is also a very special day for several guys in this Astros clubhouse. A couple of Houston natives, Jared Kozar, Robbie Grossman, grew up with this organization, watched Pettitte pitch in that Astros uniform. And I talked to some of the guys today, and they said the best way for us to pay tribute to Pettitte, a guy like Pettitte, is to just give it our absolute best. Well, we've seen this team give Pettitte their absolute best. That was back in April. We knocked him around a little bit, and they're hoping to do the same tonight. We'll see if they can do that again. Stay tuned. We have first pitch and lineups coming for you from here at Minute Maid Park. Don't go anywhere.
Their dominant presence. An astonishing 27 World Series championships. The greatest number of titles by any professional franchise in America. Of 108 World Series, the Yankees have played in 40 of them. Twice as many pennants as any other team. A franchise so storied, Their list of retired numbers rattles off like a Bronx version of Cooperstown. From the Iron Horse Lou Gehrig to the Captain Derek Jeter to Mr. October Reggie Jackson. From Mickey Mantle to Yogi Berra to Billy Martin to the greatest of all time, Babe Ruth. From a cathedral of the game's past to a sparkling new palace unmatched by any house in baseball. Love or hate, win or lose, there is no debating the majesty of the Yankees.
And now with the Yankees at Minute Maid Park for Game 2 of this 3-game series, Derek Jeter on the disabled list. He will be back next year. We understand he will plan to exercise his player option to return for next year. That's the rumor anyway about the Yankee captain. And so he will be a very big part of 2014. That's the plan. But now to 2013 and the next to last night of the season. And Paul Clemens, making his 5th Major League start, goes up against Andy Pettitte, who's making his 521st. Here's the starting lineup for the New York Yankees. Curtis Granderson's in center field with Eduardo Nunez at third base. The number 3 hitter is second baseman Robinson Cano. Alfonso Soriano's the cleanup man and left fielder with Lyle Overbay at first base, Zoilo Almonte in right field, Ichiro Suzuki the DH, Brendan Ryan at shortstop, and Chris Stewart the catcher.
Right-hander Paul Clemens goes to the mound for the Astros tonight. 25 years of age. He's 4-6 on the year and 5.69 the ERA. Paul Clemens took losses his last couple of times out. One on the recent road trip at Cleveland against the Indians, 4 2/3 innings, allowing 4 earnings in that one. Paul Clemens also recently has pitched pretty well. That against the Angels, 7 innings of 2-run ball, and that's the youngster that everybody on the Astros side would love to see tonight. Defensively, Matt Pagnozzi gets the start behind the plate. Around the infield right to left, Chris Carter, Jose Altuve, Jonathan Villar, and Matt Dominguez. In the outfield, Brandon Barnes in center, flanked by Jimmy Paredes in right, and JD Martinez in left.
Curtis Granderson steps up to lead it off. And as Julia reported to us before the game with Mariano Rivera talking with the media, he informed the media that he will not be playing in this series. Granderson at 232 has 7 homers, 14 runs batted in. Rivera is injured right now. He has not said anything about that injury. It's been bothering him for some time in the right forearm, apparently. There's strike 1 to Granderson. 232 with 7 homers for Granderson, and last night 0 for 4. So, of course, the Yankee fans who are here will be disappointed not being able to see Mariano. But then again, there was that thought coming into this series, even before being informed that he was injured, that he might not play here because it was such an emotional and appropriate farewell at Yankee Stadium on Thursday night. Ash said it would be difficult to leave with a memory after that one. That was just a perfect way to go out.
And I think with all the years that he's put up in New York, the great history that goes with it, I thought it was the fitting ending for Mariano Rivera. I just don't think you want to top that.
Clemens with the curve goes to a 2-ball 2-strike count. Check swing appeal to Kerwin Danley. Home plate umpires Vic Carapazza. Clemens has that big curveball. And that's in the dirt, ball 3. Some think that Paul could benefit with a tighter breaking pitch because with the big curve, sometimes it's not easy to get a call from a home plate umpire. And that's a leadoff walk to Granderson.
Really appeared to get under that fastball and it's going to push the sinker up. Consistency has been a tough thing in the strike zone down for Paul. Last pitch looked like the hand rolled under the baseball and left it high in the strike zone. That's an area that he has to be very careful with, and it's led to a number of home runs against him.
Eduardo Nunez comes to the plate. He was 0 for 4 last night. 256 with 3 homers. He's driven in 26. There's strike 1. Anderson has 8 stolen bases in 9 attempts. And Clemens glancing over his left shoulder at that speedy base runner. Yankees won last night 3-2. They out-hit the Astros 6-5 in that game. Here's a toss over to Chris Carter at first base. Yankees are 5th in the American League in steals with 115. On the road, they're 37-42. Joe Girardi in his 6th season as their manager has that record of 562 and 408. Former Yankee player from championship years as well. Ground ball goes foul. And among the Yankees, his future also is uncertain, going toward 2014, last year of his contract. He managed the Florida Marlins his first year as a major league skipper, and then moving on to New York, where he is now past Billy Martin on the all-time Yankee managerial win list. And this is his sternest test this season with all the injuries the Yankees have had. Big curveball got him on strikes.
You see that curveball not in the strike zone and yet picking up the swing. But that is a tough pitch to consistently throw for a strike. And yet, when you can harness it, you can get a lot of flailing swings like this.
Yes, sir. It can be a great 2-strike pitch. Robinson Cano, with his contract also ending after tomorrow, went 1 for 4 last night. He singled in. That triggered the 3-run rally for the Yankees in the 4th inning. They got all their runs in that one frame, and the Yankees saw the Astros get all their runs in the 7th inning. 2 of them on a pinch double by Brett Wallace. Very unusual 3-2 ball game with each club scoring in only 1 inning. That's the Big Bang Theory, that those big innings really are so meaningful. And we've seen it happen down through the years, Ash.
Team that scores the most runs in the large innings has a tendency and a pretty good percentage of winning those games, and
yes,
that happened, as you say.
Cano's had quite a career. It'll be interesting to see what kind of contract he gets. He fouls this one back out of play. There are some high numbers being thrown around regarding his value on the free agent market. Some people feel that the Yankees have no choice but to sign him.
Yeah, I think it's clear the Yankees in New York have to find a way to win. But I think finding a way to win and signing a guy to a 10-year deal at this stage of his career that could be worth as much as $300+ million may not be a great ultimate way to win.
Cano looks at that one, and the count runs to 1-1. 313 this year, and as a second baseman since his debut May 3rd of 2005, he ranks number 1 among Major League second basemen in hits, doubles, and runs batted in. Runner going, and here's a throw from Pagnazzi, and the tag by VR. Rod stealing. Anderson 2-6.
Astros catching has made some very fine throws this year, and this one as good as it gets. Pagnazzi didn't rush, just did everything perfect. Watch how smoothly he comes out and then puts this throw on the money. You won't see it done any better.
Outstanding work by Matt Pagnazzi. Now the infield shifts around, playing Cano more to the pull side. And he puts that one in the air. Matt Dominguez going over toward foul ground and calling for it there. And in the first inning, it's no runs, no hits, and now Andy Pettitte heads for the hill in his final start as a Yankee. Andy Pettitte getting set to face this lineup. Jonathan Villar at shortstop, Jose Altuve second base, Matt Dominguez third base, Chris Carter first base, JD Martinez left field, Brandon Laird DH, Jimmy Paredes right field, Matt Pagnazzi catcher, Brandon Barnes center field.
Andy Pettitte goes to the mound, and what a big day for him as he closes out his tremendous career. 41 years of age, 10-11. He'd love to even that record with a win tonight. 3.88 the ERA, and he feels that he's pitched quite well down the stretch. Felt earlier in the season he wasn't pitching the way he would like, because the left-hand hitters still really struggling against Andy, hitting 195. But the righties have found a way this year, hitting 307. Generally, that back foot slider he throws will get the right-handers very consistently.
Switch hitting Jonathan Villar leads it off. And there's strike one to Villar. Villar had been in a slump, and last night he went 1 for 4 and stole a base. With that hit, he snapped an 0 for 19 stretch. Got his 18th steal of the season. 249, 1 homer, and he's driven in 8. 326 is on base average. It's 0-2, and Andy Pettitte, shooting for win number 11 of the season, has lived for years in Deer Park, Texas, but was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 218 and 127 as a Yankee with a 3.95 ERA. He gets a strikeout to open.
Defensively for the Yankees behind Andy Pettitte, who didn't need defense with that first hitter. Chris Stewart behind the plate, very good defensively. Around the infield, Lyle Overbay, Robinson Cano, Brendan Ryan, and Eduardo Nunez. In the outfield, Curtis Granderson in center. Zoilo Almonte in right, and in left, Alfonso Soriano.
Jose Altuve has had a romp in the month of September with the second best September average in the American League. He looks at strike one from Pettitte. For the season, 284 for Altuve, 5 homers, 52 runs batted in. He's hit 368 in September. He has 39 hits. That's the most hits by any Astro in a calendar month since Hunter Pence got 40 hits in May of 2011. And he's leading the majors in hits this month. Bunting, and he bunts it foul. 0-2. Altuve went 1 for 3 against Pettitte in the game at Yankee Stadium. Lucas Harrell starting that one for Houston against Andy back on the 29th of April. Andy losing that game and giving up 10 hits and 7 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. Altuve had an RBI double along the way. Andy goes to a 1-ball 2-strike count. He said he was leaving about 50 tickets for tonight's game, and many other friends just didn't bother to ask. They got tickets on their own. And very anxious to start retirement. He did retire briefly and came back, so he knows what it's like to be without baseball as far as being a uniform player for a summer, and he liked it very much. And he had a chance to see actually a tackle football game involving one of his sons this afternoon. He had to get out of the sun, though. He was getting too hot. He had to go to the press box. There's a smash into left field, and Altuve's aboard with a 1-out single. And that's what Andy is going to be enjoying so much, more family time now in Deer Park.
I think as competitive as Andy Pettitte has been, he'll think about getting out on the mound and trying to eat up hitters like he's done so many times. But I think all in all, he's just going to love the opportunity to be a dad, be a husband, and do the things that are most important.
The Los Astros uniforms worn in honor of Hispanic Heritage Night tonight. 244 for Matt Dominguez, 21 homers, 76 batted in. Ball 1 to Domingo. Last night he was 0 for 3 with a walk. The Astros scored the 2 runs in the 7th inning on the 2-run pinch double by Brett Wallace, and then they had the bases loaded, and Dominguez hit a fly ball to center field to end that threat. This one goes out of play, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. 13-game losing streak for the Astros. They've hit .215 as a team during the 13 losses. They've averaged 1.6 runs per game. They've been outscored 72-21. And Bo Porter wants to end it now.
You talk about 1.6 runs per game, and you need to score about 5+ to consistently win in this league.
That's been tough going for the starting pitchers. We saw it last night with Brett Oberholzer pitching well through 3, and then the Yankees got 3 in the 4th. One of those unearned, but it's just very difficult for starting pitchers to go out there time after time without much run support and without a whole lot of fielding support. Rolled out to shortstop. It's a quick toss, and then Cano is the middleman from Ryan on the 6-4-3 double play. After 1, it's scoreless at Minute Maid. For those of you in our CSN Houston viewing audience, glad to be back on the air now. A scoreless first inning. The Yankees had a leadoff walk from Granderson. He was thrown out trying to steal. Paul Clemens on the mound for Houston. And with Andy Pettitte on the hill, the Astros got a one-out single from Altuve. He was erased on a 6-4-3 double play hit by Matt Dominguez. Now the second inning opens with Alfonso Soriano, 254, 34 homers, 101 runs batted in. Soriano had a walk and a double last night. And shoots one into left center field. We go back to the bottom of the first inning with Andy Pettitte making his final major league start. He opened with a strikeout of Jonathan Villar. And Altuve shot a single between third and short. That was his 40th hit of the month, and the double play ball hit by Matt Dominguez.
How do you like that turn at second by Robinson Cano? Very casual, but that strong submarine throwing style.
Yes. Lyle Overbay has 4 go-ahead home runs this season. Played a lot of first base with the injury to Mark Teixeira. Way outside, ball 1. Overbay with 14 long balls, 59 runs batted in, has a .242 batting average for the Yankees. Yankees have gone through so many players, a total of 56. 21 players have been on the disabled list for them this year. Now it's 2-0 to Overbay. Clemens 0-2 as a major league starting pitcher in the 4 starts with a 4.22 ERA. It's 3 balls, no strikes. We see all the games played this season, and they haven't amounted to much for Derek Jeter, for Alex Rodriguez, Curtis Granderson, and Mark Teixeira. Very few games with that foursome. Popped up. Dominguez heads back for it. Villar has the angle, and Villar calls him off and makes the catch. Took a look over at first. Soriano wasn't returning to first. A reminder now, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So Overbay green lighted on 3-0. Popped up, and Villar got back for the play. It's out number 1, and now Almonte bats.
That probably speaks in a big way to the difficulties the Yankees have had in scoring runs this year. Give a guy in the 5 spot the green light.
The Yankees are averaging just barely over 4 runs per game. You talked about that 5 run per game. That's a nice average for a major league club to maintain. 240 for Almonte with a homer, 9 runs batted in. Zoilo made his major league debut June the 19th. And for the Yanks, it's been a struggle on the road in particular. They're hitting .234 away from Yankee Stadium. That is the lowest batting average on the road in the American League. They're 15th in total bases. It's a very unusual year. And a shot to right field. Jimmy Paredes back for the catch. And he zips it back into the infield on out number 2. Paredes came from the Yankees. Signed as a free agent by the Yankees in 06, traded to Houston in the Lance Berkman deal. Ichiro Suzuki batting in the number 7 spot and DHing tonight at .260, has 7 homers, 35 runs batted in. And many feel that he is on a Hall of Fame path. Has more than 4,000 professional hits between Japan and Major League Baseball. Here's ball 1 to Suzuki.
Those are not Ichiro-like numbers, though, that he's put up this year. The career, absolutely phenomenal.
The homers, the runs batted in don't really tell the story of what he's done so much. He lines one to right field. It's that type of hitting. Just solid line drive hitting. .319 career batting average for Ichiro, who's now 39 years old.
Very unique style with the bat. He keeps that front hip closed a long time. It enables him to take a long stride and hit just about anything that's flipped to the plate. And he can hit it to all fields. He'll use center field and left field probably most of the time. And a guy who some say when he wants to can launch the home run quite consistently.
Now with 2 men on and 2 outs, Brendan Ryan, the number 6 hitter, comes up. Ryan, the former St. Louis Cardinals, Seattle Mariner, at 197, has 4 homers, 22 driven in. And he is the Yankees' backup plan for Derek Jeter next year. There's ball 1. The feeling is that Jeter really was recovering from that broken ankle all last off season. Did not have a chance to do the normal winter workouts, and that may have led to the recurring problems he's had this year. Now, as he heads into this off season, he is prepared to be able to do his normal routine. And the Yankees feel that could make a world of difference in getting him on the field many more times next year. If it does not work out, Ryan is plan B.
I think at the same time the Yankees and everybody, Jeter himself, have to be concerned that he's reached that stage where he has a susceptible spot there in the ankle and maybe other parts of the body as well.
Ryan lost his everyday shortstop status with Seattle and then was traded to the Yanks. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Not hitting much, but boy, is he a wizard. And here is the captain and 5-time World Series champion, World Series MVP in 2000, a 13-time All-Star. So yes, the Yankees would love to welcome him back in very good form next year.
You may recall a couple of years ago getting his 3,000th hit, and he just continued to chug on by.
Still a very fine offensive player when healthy. And the Astros had a shot at drafting him in 1992. The story has been well told down through the years. They passed on him to take Phil Nevin. Cincinnati Reds also passed on him, as did a few other teams. And the story has also been related that Hal Newhouser, who was the Astros scout in Michigan and former MVP in the American League, resigned after the Astros did not draft Derek Jeter. It's a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Brendan Ryan.
Ronnie, we were talking about offense and its importance in winning games in the American League. And if you look at teams that have played well this year, offense really stands out, despite the fact that people always talk about pitching being 90% of the game. The Boston Red Sox are the only team that's scoring more than 5 runs a game. Of course, we know the Red Sox are in. Tigers, Oakland, Cleveland, and Texas are all right around 4.5 runs a game.
Offense is down again this year.
And those are the leading clubs. The only club in there, well, 2 clubs, Baltimore and the Angels, that are not going to get into postseason, right around 4.5 runs a game. So in saying 5 runs a game, probably the more accurate figure was 4.5 runs a game is what you need to average in order to be among the elite clubs in the American League. That's this year.
Runners will go again on 3-2 with 2 outs. Top of the shortstop, VR in between Hop. Good play. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, no score. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Buy Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken sandwich combos for only $3.99 plus tax. On a Saturday night, we had a heavy rain this afternoon. Looking clear at the moment outside Minute Maid Park. No score. Andy Pettitte on the mound. Chris Carter just about to enter the batter's box. Carter, the cleanup man, is 2 for 3 against Andy. And yes, there are many Pettitte fans here. And this community will benefit from his presence as a citizen after he retires. Big curveball comes in for strike 1. Carter with 29 homers, 81 runs batted in, has a .225 average. We don't know if Roger Clemens is here tonight. He will be here tomorrow as a part of the pregame ceremony honoring Mariano Rivera. Joe Torre will be here for that. Milo Hamilton will MC on the field. And he just misses the back door on that one, and the count runs to 2 balls and a strike. Brooke Hale there on the bench. And Carter flails at that one. It's 2-2. Pettitte, in addition to that cutter, as he calls it, that breaking pitch which you can break down and in on the right foot of a right-handed batter, can change speed so well. Fly ball out to center field. The Grandy man can. 1 out.
You didn't say that, did you?
No.
Astros Trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Andy Pettitte was sent to AAA in May of 1995 before making his first Major League start 2 weeks later. What rookie did the Yankees recall to take his spot?
Good question.
Wow. Do I call you John Sterling?
You could call me John. Or AJ or any of those. J.D. Martinez smashes one into the right field corner. Heads for second base. Opposite field double for J.D. His 17th two-base hit. I wonder if something might have been bothering his leg there. He kind of eased into second base. Hard to tell if it might have been bothering him, but that is his 17th double of the year.
Frustrating year, I'm sure, for J.D. Martinez. Boy, that's pretty. Really barreled down through the baseball and driving to that right side. I'm not sure that J.D. Martinez would talk about an injury at this point.
Right there. Maybe not.
It ran reasonably well around the bag at first.
Brandon Laird. 5 homers, 11 runs batted in, a 188 average. Strike. Most managers don't give a thought to starting very many left-handed hitters against Andy Pettitte. Just the best around. Left-handed hitters hitting 195 against him. So Andy usually sees the steady diet of right-handed bats. Rolled out to the third baseman's left, and Nunez goes on over to Overbay for out number 2. Whitey Ford is the all-time win leader in Yankee franchise history with 236. Red Ruffing is second. Andy Pettitte is third. This is Andy's 438th start, and that ties him with Ford for the all-time Yankee lead.
Are you surprised through the great history that we've talked about, 27 World Series championships, 40 years into the World Series, everything the Yankees have done, that they don't have a pitcher with 300-plus wins?
Yes. Very much so. Jimmy Pettitte, the Yankee product, works the ball 1. 197, 1 homer, 10 runs batted in for Pettitte. In fact, Pettitte is the only pitcher drafted by the Yankees to win 200 games in the majors. Whitey Ford came along before the draft in Red Ruffing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It makes it sound like the draft is not necessarily all that important. I guess if you got some coin to go with it.
Andy was the Astros pitcher of the year in 2005. Had his career low ERA here that year, 2.39. Out to second base. Cano on over to Overbay. It's no runs a hit and a runner stranded, and it's no score after a couple.
Houston area Chevy dealers hit the streets, debuting the redesigned 2014 Silverado while saluting our local veterans. It started at Sam Houston Race Park, and it ended up right here at Minute Maid Park. Pretty cool stuff there, but the fun did not stop there. I'm actually joined by Bill Sussman. He is a Houston Chevy dealer representative, and you guys presented one of the local veterans with something very special today. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we presented Corey with a new home today. He's an American hero. We're proud to be here with him. It's a great day.
I can hear the excitement in your voice. A very cool day for this guy, too, though. This is who you're talking about, Corey Gober, who's former staff sergeant, 10 years of service, and just your thoughts, and can you put into words this day as you got a mortgage-free home today?
There are no words to express my gratitude, and it's such a fantastic organization, Military War Sport Foundation, and Silverado Chevy for helping out with us, and I can't I can't say anything else. It's been a dream. Thank you all.
Well, tell me a little bit about your family. You have some kids, and you've got a nice little family going.
Yeah, my beautiful wife, Rebecca, has put up with me for several years, and got 2 rugrats when I'm 3, Audrey and Archer. It's about 18 months old, and we are certainly looking forward to moving into Humble, Texas, and being a good part of the community.
I want to get back to Bill. Just the thoughts on the entire from Chevrolet. What was this day like for everybody?
It was just so exciting. I mean, we unveiled a new truck in the market. It's the best product we've ever had, and we get to do it with young men and women that risk their lives for our freedom in our country, and we can't say thank you enough. And Corey, thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you both very much. Good luck, Corey. And guys, I'm going to send it back over to you. Good stuff over here.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Julia. Chris Stewart batting with a 2-2 count now, leading off the third in a scoreless game. And this one hit the shortstop, the curveball. And VR takes care of out number 1. Jonathan right involved in the action here in the early going. Could be one of those active nights for him.
His shortstop play has looked good in these 2 games with the Yankees. You can see some of the work starting to make him a little bit more consistent with the footwork.
Curtis Granderson drew a leadoff walk. Then he was thrown out trying to steal in the first inning. Fly ball heads for right. Jimmy Pettitte moves in for it. 2 outs. And for Paul Clemens, a chance to be remembered as he opposes the famous one. And there's always that motivation for a young pitcher going up against one of the big names of Paul's era when he was a child now. A chance to beat an Andy Pettitte. Nunez comes up. He struck out in the first inning. It's a wild card race in the American League going down to the final day tomorrow. Cleveland has won 9 in a row now. Cleveland now leads in the wild card race with 91 wins and 70 losses. 1 game ahead of both Tampa Bay and Texas. Both of them are 90 and 71. Texas won again today. Cleveland won. Tampa Bay lost.
Tampa Bay losers of 2 straight, and it's coming at a very bad time for their club.
Well, isn't it though? It could be absolutely crazy. It could be 3 teams involved in a playoff for that AL wild card. And they've all done well in the last 10 games.
Let's go for that. I'm up for that extra playoff action.
Bring on the pandemonium. But actually there could be games both Monday and Tuesday to decide that. So this wild card tiebreaker gets pretty detailed, very involved, Ash.
And again, it probably creates a lot of headaches for a number of people, but I think for the game in general, it's very good.
Fly ball out to center. Brandon Barnes tracks it. And puts it away for a 1-2-3 third for Clemens. 0-0.
Was the guy that we're looking for with that question about what rookie did the Yankees recall to take Andy Pettitte's spot when he got sent down to the minor leagues early on. Mariano Rivera made his major league debut 4 days before Pettitte's first major league start. Mariano Rivera had a little bit of a time early on as a starting pitcher, not very successful in that endeavor, and then goes on to become the greatest closer, greatest reliever in the game's history.
In his first season, 1995 with the Yankees, Rivera was 5-3 with a 5.51 ERA.
How about that? You ever imagine that guy is going to be one of the great ones?
This goes to show you, you look at some of these rookie numbers and try to project, and you could get in trouble in a hurry with accuracy there. Matt Pagnozzi looks at strike 1 from Andy Pettitte. Matt, a 105 hitter for 19 at-bats with the Astros. He's done a nice job catching. The Astros were desperate for catching help when they obtained him in a deal from the Atlanta Braves. He had just finished the AAA season at Gwinnett, was headed home to Arizona. They stopped him and he went back to the airport and headed for Houston. One ball, one strike. Pagnozzi and Cody Clark have had a chance to catch several games now in the month of September with the injury to Jason Castro, and then Carlos Corcoran also hurt, and Max Stassi as well. One ball, two strikes. This is the 6th start for Matt since he was acquired from the Braves. And what a bonus for a player like Matt Pagnozzi, who was headed home, to be able to join a big league club, and now he plays a game against Andy Pettitte.
Well, one thing the Astros have found with bringing Pagnozzi and Clark to the major leagues, a couple of guys that can really play that defensive side of the game with the throwing anyway.
Yeah, it makes you realize, as we talk about rookies' numbers, we were a moment ago with Mariano Rivera, how many good young players there are who might not be on the top of any prospect list, but they get promoted, they get their opportunity to come to the big leagues, and people are impressed.
What if Mariano Rivera, in that failed attempt to be a starter back in 1995, had never gotten a further opportunity? Of course, we'd have never known, but how many of those guys have been out there?
Exactly. Rivera, by the way, has saved 72 of Andy Pettitte's victories. And that's the top figure all time in save for one closer, for one starter. It's 3-2. Andy Pettitte has 20 career wins at Minute Maid Park. Roy Oswalt, the all-time leader, with 77. Pagnozzi works a leadoff walk, first of the night for Pettitte.
Look at those numbers. Over 3,000 innings pitched by Andy Pettitte in the big leagues. We've talked about the 255 wins. Mariano Rivera, 652 saves. Just an incredible figure. If you look at, you've got some other closers that you like to look at what they've done. Compare the saves to what Rivera has done. 82 wins to go with it. Oh hum. And that 2.21 ERA.
Brandon Barnes, he got a hit and drove in 2 against Pettitte in New York. They strike 1 to Barnes, so quite a thrilling rookie season for Brandon, considering that he also got a hit off Mariano Rivera. 242, 8 homers, 41 runs batted in. And he said mentally he's not tired. Physically he does need a rest. He will not play winter ball. It's 0-2. Our producer Carl Patterson ran some numbers on the average center fielder in the major leagues this year. And Brandon Barnes stacks up quite well compared to major league average center fielders.
Of course, those are offensive numbers. Defensively, I think he ranks well above the average major league center fielder.
Yes. 1-2. There they are.
That batting average leans toward the other guy out there, but home runs, RBIs, doubles, everything he's done, he's darn close. And you factor in the way he plays with the leather. Valuable player.
He has 406 at bats, and that was for an average of 400 at bats to level out the playing field on those statistics. But it has been a lot of playing time for Brandon. He certainly ranks as an important member of the planning for the 2014 Astros. Punches that one foul. He can help out in a variety of ways. We'll have to wait and see what the outfield composition is of next year's club. But he has certainly impressed a lot of people. By the way, Bo Porter was asked about the coaching staff for next year, and he said that will be announced about the middle of next week. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Just to have a big Saturday night crowd. And tomorrow, special festivities will begin on the field before game time. We mentioned those ceremonies for Mariano Rivera, the Famous Texas artist Opie Otterstad will present him with a painting. Bouncer back to Pettitte. Pettitte throws. There's one out, and then Cano makes it a double play. 1-4-3.
Well, not the strongest, most aggressive throw towards second by Pettitte, but when you've got a guy with that throwing arm of Robinson Cano to finish things off, just get the ball in his hands.
That's 2 double plays for Andy tonight. His assortment of pitches, he can do that quite often against right-handed batters.
He changes speeds very effectively.
Sure does.
You know, he doesn't have a big fastball, but he spots the ball so well and changes speeds.
Nathan VR struck out in the first inning. Showing body takes a strike. Pettitte's average fastball velocity this year is 89. In his career against Houston, he's 1-1 with a 6.94 ERA. We are again showing Bud. Again, it's a strike, and now he's in a hole, 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Wayne Graham, the legendary Rice Owls baseball coach, was Andy's coach at San Jacinto Junior College. David Barron wrote an article in the Houston Chronicle this morning quoting Wayne Graham about Andy's years at San Jac. He said he gained complete control over his emotions on the mound. He was a little emotional when he first came to San Jac.
I think he's going to be a little emotional tonight.
Liner to left. Soriano in. He snags it. And in the third, it's no runs, no hits, nobody left. After 3, nothing doing.
Enhances your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. In-game live only on csnhouston.com, guys.
Hey, Julia, have you seen Jeff Blum tonight?
No. Did he show up for work today?
Well, we think he may be in the truck. We're not sure. He is in the truck. Oh, we better watch our comments.
He could learn something in there.
We all could learn something in there. Robinson Cano leads it off. Hits one in the air to center field. Barnes gets those shoulders turned early. That's what he does. 1 pitch, 1 out for Clemens. You know, a center fielder like Barnes can look so graceful.
He took off last night toward the gap in left center field on a sharply hit ball and just cruised into it. It was just a beautiful thing. It's what you see when you get that peek at a guy who plays center with the best of them. And I think that going and getting the baseball, he can do as well as anybody.
Soriano singled to left. He jumped on the first pitch in the second inning. They strike 1. The Rangers moved up their game, which was to have been a night game, but because of a bad weather forecast, they played at 11 this morning. They beat the Angels 7-4. Angels making 5 errors. And the Rangers now are putting on a late burst, as is Cleveland. And they've won 6 in a row. So they go to game number 162 with a shot at the postseason again. Joe Nathan got his 43rd save. Joaquin Soria the winner.
Little different style from a year ago when the Rangers also faced 162 with some problems heading in front of them.
That's a curveball, strike 3 call. Strikeout number 2 gets Soriano.
Salute our nation's veterans by attending the Astros Salute to Veterans, presented by Occidental Petroleum. At Minute Maid this Veterans Day. Free entertainment and a film you won't forget. Learn more and get your free tickets at www.astros.com/vets today.
It's going to be a special day here in the ballpark. Lyle Overbay bats next. He popped up on a 3-0 pitch. time he pops up on an 0-0 pitch. VR hustling for it. J.D. Martinez. And, whoa, he got there. J.D. gloving it just in front of that wall for out number 3. It's a quick 4th inning, and it's still scoreless.
The owner's suite is now available free on iPhone and iPad. Build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today. Data and usage rates may apply, guys.
Are you getting wistful about the final day of the season tomorrow, Julia?
Oh, no, don't make me sad. I'm holding it together down here.
Such a long grind, though. But still fun at the end. Altuve leads it off in the home 4th inning. With 1 out in the 1st inning, he singled to left field off Pettitte. Strike 1.
It's all fun and games for Julia. No grinding needed at all.
All fun and games.
That's the way I heard it.
It has been fun.
There's a line drive, and Soriano will pick it up on a bounce. Another hit for Altuve, his 41st of the month. He is going out in a blaze here.
Well, he had his struggles for a good long while there with the bat, but I think he's closer right now. Obviously swinging on an extremely high level, but closer to what he's capable of doing than what we saw through July and August.
Soriano looked somewhat surprised to see that baseball in his glove. Now Dominguez, he bounced into a double play. And tight ball 1. That famous Pettitte stare in over the glove will be missed.
I wonder if he does that when he requests a meal at home. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, that'll do.
A little roller out to Cano's left. Altuve to second as the throw goes on to Overbay. 1 out. And Carter will bat. Yankee fans booed last night when David Robertson came out of the Yankee bullpen and headed for the mound. They desperately wanted to see Mariano Rivera. Then we learned tonight before the game Mariano has an injury to his right arm, and he will not apparently be playing in this series. And also, I think his leg is bothering him as well, so he won't play the outfield. That had been a rumor that might be happening for 1 inning for Mariano.
Hey, Brownie, to add to that, I happened to hear Mariano speak today about it was his knee that was bothering him, and he said that he really thought about playing in the outfield, really wanted to do it, but he said that didn't want to make a fool of himself. He respected the game too much, and that knee was bothering him just a little bit too much.
Carter hit a fly ball to center earlier. Well, he leaves the game the same way he treated it his whole career, with respect.
You know, it's interesting coming in that Joe Girardi, the skip, made numerous comments about the fact that he wanted to get his star closer into center field, and he wanted to have him pitch here in the series. And I wonder if Girardi was unaware of any physical ailments.
Hard to say. Apparently Mariano and Julia can verify this, because she was down there listening to him. Told the people gathered around him that he had this injury for a while now.
Sounds like the forearm had been bothering him for a while. He wouldn't tell us how long, but he smiled and said it's been a while.
One ball, 1 strike to Carter. Well, the Rangers now in much better shape with that wild card situation in the American League. They could be having a 1-game playoff with Tampa Bay at home on Monday, the way it looks, if everything stays the same as it is right now. And that's with Cleveland leading the other 2 by 1. 2 balls and a strike. It's going to be an interesting final day. Well, there's nothing like that final day of a long 162-game season, watching the scoreboard involving these teams fighting for postseason berths. Three and one.
In recent years, Tampa Bay has had some resounding success on the final day of the season but it looks like it could slide the other direction this year. We shall see.
Strike, and it's 3-2. If the Rangers win and Tampa Bay loses, then Rangers and Cleveland Indians are in as the wild card contestants.
Just a couple of days ago, looked like Tampa Bay had the lock on that upper end.
Now Altuve takes off for third, ground ball in the hole at shortstop. Here's a long throw by Ryan. Altuve to the plate, over base throw, not in time. And Altuve hustles all the way from second to score the first run of the game.
How about that? Jose Altuve, part of this running gang that has quite frankly been thrown out a lot of times this year, but even with a little bit of a slowdown into the bag at third, he's able to score and score handily. That aggressive nature on a club is sure fun to watch. Sometimes it can be frustrating. Lyle Overbay at first base throws very well.
Just tremendous hustle by Altuve. He got a good jump off second, and then the ball was hit actually behind him. And when Ryan threw, he just kept going. So Carter gets an RBI, his 82nd of the year, scoring a ground out. Altuve coming in from second.
There he goes, and now kind of slows down for a couple of little choppy steps, but then airs it out. It's good stuff.
He just stole a run.
He did. I don't know if oh, is that an RBI situation or is that fielder's choice? Yeah,
it's an RBI.
I think they should tack a ribby onto Altuve. He just picked it up himself.
Well, Mr. Carter should in some way thank him for that RBI, don't you think?
Dinner should be coming soon.
Martinez strikes out, and the Astros hustle their way to one run on one hit. And after four, it's 1-0 Astros.
Making cancer history, September 28, 2011. The Tampa Bay Rays come back to win the American League wild card after being down 9 games at the start of September. After Boston loses minutes before, the Rays win in the 12th inning to steal the playoff bid. And the video will show it. 2 outs, 2 strikes, game-tying pinch hit home run by Dan Johnson after the Rays trailed in this one 7-0 in the 8th inning. And then after that took place, and there it is again, Dan Johnson, where is he now?
Good question.
And we'll get to what followed. This is it. Okay.
That was ball 1 to Almonte. Almonte hit a fly ball to right field, and Mr. Longoria came up large in that game, didn't he?
He did that.
Altuve to his left. Carter, 1 out.
So you mentioned Evan Longoria. This is what he did in the 12th inning. A line shot that hooked just over that 315 mark, and the Rays win. And you know, that's kind of the image I have with Joe Madden skippering this Rays ball club. Ever since they lost the devil in Rays, they became quite a contending club.
They exorcised the devil, and they're now a much better ball club. Ichiro Suzuki, single to right field earlier. Pops up here, foul ground. VR sprinting over for it. VR reaching out, and he got his glove on it, but couldn't hold it. Difficult play. It's a long run for VR.
And with that hard long run going on, you can't get a good glimpse at the wall coming up, and you start to reach at the last moment. You saw he's already given the last peek that he would get, and at that moment I think he's just feeling for it and trying to come up with something.
Ichiro wiggles in that box, doesn't he? No balls, 2 strikes. He is so much fun to watch.
His mannerisms are very easy to determine who's at the plate. Boy, he's done it well. He's done it way beyond well for a long, long time, both in Japan and here in the U.S.
knock-kneed style. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Arnold Palmer would be proud.
He has been prolific in picking up hits. An absolute hitting machine down through the years. Oh, that's a big yacker. Strikeout number 3.
Whether you're from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, or New Mexico, CSN Houston covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com.
Brendan Ryan bounced out with 2 men on to end the Yankees' 2nd inning. Paul Clemens threw only 5 pitches in the 4th inning. He's needed just 49 to this point. Andy Pettitte's not getting much time in the dugout. It's ball 1. Scott Kazmir was the winner for Cleveland. 5-1 at Minnesota. Kazmir going to 10-9, the Houston native. With win number 9 in a row for the Tribe. Carlos Santana hit his 20th home run. Popped up. Dominguez coming in for it. Carter is moving in. Clemens called, and he called for the third baseman, who took care of out number 3 in a 1-0 game.
The action of the 2013 Major League postseason starting October 1st. Check your local listings for details, guys.
Thanks for the memories. Astros and Yankee fans thanking Andy Pettitte. He's trailing 1-0 as the Astros come up in the 5th inning. The run scoring by Jose Altuve, scoring from second on a ground out. He was breaking on the pitch toward third. He had singled him, taken second on a ground out. Now Brandon Laird. That's ball 1. Astros announced a couple of exhibition games will be played with the Veracruz team from Mexico before next season, when the Yankees will open here at Minute Maid Park. Those exhibition games will be March 29th and 30th here at Minute Maid Park against Veracruz. Towering pop. Nunez in. Nunez back, and he handled it.
Andy Pettitte here on the evening. He's been good. He's unfortunate to be trailing, but picked up a couple of double plays on ground balls. Tapper back to the mound as he starts one of those. It's Cano to finish off the job for Andy Pettitte on the evening. Just a couple of strikeouts, but it's been vintage what he does and has done for so long.
Good numbers in his final game, shaking off signs from Chris Stewart here. Jimmy Paredes gets one right there at 90 for strike 1. Jimmy grounded out earlier. The appeal went to first. He went around. Call made by Bill Miller. It's 0-2. Paredes tried to check again. This time he did. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Pettitte tried to get him to climb the ladder. Bounce to second. Cano flipping over to first. Very casual approach. 2 outs.
No, even in the dire circumstances, that's how Cano plays it. And he can really bring it from that submarine area.
And there's the ownership group of that Veracruz club from Veracruz, Mexico. They'll be back, of course, for the exhibition games in March with the Astros. Well, the Yankees may be in Panama before they arrive here to open the 2014 season.
I don't think he was calling the bullpen already, dude.
Well, that club has been known to supply players to some major league clubs from time to time. There's ball one to Pagnazzi. Pagnazzi drew a leadoff walk in the third. And smashes a line drive hit to center field. Good night going from Matt Pagnazzi, reaching base both the first two times up.
And not only that, but that excellent throw, catching a runner trying to steal earlier in the ballgame. That was Curtis Granderson back in the first. And I mean, he put it right on the money.
Seems to be clicking well with Paul Clemens, too. Carlos Corcoran will do the catching tomorrow in the final game. Brandon Barnes bounced into a 1-4-3 double play in the third inning.
I was hoping to get to see a bit of Max Stassi. Unfortunate, obviously, that he had the concussion.
That's looped to right field, and it backs up Almonte. For out number 3, no runs, a hit, and a man left. And after 5, it's 1-0 Houston. Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. And by Progressive. Visit progressive.com today. Good ball game going here at Minute Maid Park through 5. It's 1-0 Astros. The Astros hustled to their run in the 4th inning. Altuve led off with a single, advancing on a ground ball. And then he took off for third on a pitch to Chris Carter and scored from second on that ground out. Now we go to the 6th inning, and Paul Clemens has not allowed base runners since the second. He's retired 10 in a row. Astros about hit the Yankees 4-2 with no errors tonight. Chris Stewart leads it off. Clemens high with the fastball, ball 1. Clemens' longest stretch in a game as an Astros starting pitcher, 7 innings. That game Ash talked about earlier here against the Angels. It was a 2-1 loss September 15th. But he gave up 2 runs in 7 innings and really acquitted himself well, throwing 88 pitches. Last time out in Cleveland, he threw 91 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. This is a much more efficient version of Paul Clemens tonight than that last time.
That game you mentioned, though, against the Angels was the night that left me thinking, I wonder about this guy, how he might fit in.
Exactly. So he's making his bid now. After opening the season in long relief, his second outing as a major league pitcher in relief at Oakland. 5 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 72 pitches in relief. But he's been primarily a starter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Paul 25 years old, and now he becomes a little bit more of the story. Many people coming to see Andy Pettitte tonight, and they're watching this 25-year-old right-hander from Columbia, South Carolina, mow down the Yankees.
What I've seen with Paul Clemens at times, and it's not like we've seen him enough to formulate absolute notions about him, but as he starts a ball game, might be the point where he struggles a bit, and then 2-3 innings in, he has a tendency of finding it and really settling in nicely. Therefore, when you come in as a reliever and do that, you don't have those innings to kind of find your way.
Looping hit out to right center, put Stewart aboard. With number 3 for the Yankees. And the number 9 man is aboard for Granderson now. Granderson has walked in. He's flied to right. As Ash mentioned earlier, Matt Pagnazzi made an excellent throw to gun him down, trying to steal a base in that first inning. Final day of the season coming tomorrow. It's Eric Bedard for the Astros, and the Yankees are going with David Huff. Strike to Granderson. Looks at it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Hunter Pence, according to reports from CBS, has agreed to a new 5-year deal with the San Francisco Giants worth $90 million. He was headed for one of the top spots on the free agent list. 1-2.
I think that's a great deal for Hunter. This stage of his career, you could go out and maybe find a spot where you could make a couple of extra bucks, but I think he'll be able to make ends meet there, and he's already settled in awfully nicely on that Giants club.
Giants stand to lose some big time starting pitching talent. Line foul. Big day for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They won at Cincinnati 8-3. Vin Mazzaro, the winning pitcher, beating Bronson Arroyo. And the Pirates will now not only be in the playoffs, but they will host the wild card game against Cincinnati Tuesday night. Now Doug Brocail's coming out, and trainer Nate Lucero and Bo Porter not too far behind him. Something seems to be the problem with Paul Clemens.
See what we can see on this pitch. Bends over afterwards, and he grabs at that right, maybe elbow area. I wonder, did something suddenly give him some serious pain there? It's not what you want to see as a guy grabbing on one pitch to a part of either elbow or shoulder area. Maybe it's more on the hand, the thumb. Looked like the way he kind of grabbed up with the left arm, that he was kind of protecting his right elbow. But yeah, maybe it's just that thumb area. I wonder how that comes about.
Hard to figure.
Should be able to put some sort of a band-aid on that area and not have it impact your pitching, I would think. Now, I've seen guys that will kind of cut their thumb on the other side of the thumb with fingernails from the fingers that push on the baseball. They'll flip through and hit the thumb. I wonder if somehow he comes to the outside of the thumb when he delivers. He is a bit unorthodox at times. That would be extreme.
Back in his second major league appearance, that game in Oakland when he went 5 1/3 in relief, he dislocated the pinky finger in that ball game.
Well, that was just plain disgusting. Things started pointing all the wrong directions, and then he shows it to everybody like, oh my gosh, I'm done for the next year. And then he just changes the direction and, no, I'm good, let's go.
Well, apparently he's staying in. And home plate umpire Vic Carapazza signaling to the Yankee bench that does not count as an official visit to the mound because it's an injury. But obviously he'll be very carefully watched from this point on.
I'd love to know how he sustained this cut.
Looking down at that right hand, he's in a 1-0 game. And now back to work with a runner at first, nobody out, and a 1-2 count on Granderson.
Just couldn't tell if that was on the inside of the thumb or the outside.
Curveball gets a strikeout of Granderson.
He didn't lose the hammer.
Strikeout number 4. That hammer's been working quite well for him.
He's got a very good over-the-top curveball. Again, it is a tough pitch to consistently command. Some guys have had great success. I think of Bert Blyleven as one of those, Andy Messersmith. But it's typically not as easy to command on a consistent basis as, say, a tight slider.
Eduardo Nunez is struck out, and he's fly to center. He looks at ball 1. 63 pitches in now for Clemens. Pittsburgh Pirates in their 8-3 win at Cincinnati hit 6 home runs today. They'll be playing in that home playoff game at PNC Park where they've won 50 games this year. Now 2-0. Walker hit a couple of those home runs today. Andrew McCutchen went deep. He's a very strong MVP candidate. Pedro Alvarez hit another one. He's going after Paul Goldschmidt for the National League home run lead. That's foul. 2-1.
Well, the best team in the National League, probably, if you had to pick one, might be the St. Louis Cardinals this year. How about the Atlanta Braves? Who would be the standouts coming from one of those two clubs?
That's a good question. You see Chai-Jen Low warming up. If you really held my feet to the fire, I would go with St. Louis on that. I think Atlanta is enormously talented, but inside that almost hit him. Ball 3 to Nunez, and you wonder about the thumb now for Clemens, whether that's affecting his pitches.
Well, that would have been really spectacular with a full handstand here.
Oh yeah,
came up a bit shy. Don't think I've ever seen that.
It's pretty good work.
What pitch was thrown there? That's good.
High drive left field. If it's fair, it's trouble for the Astros. It's going foul. Nunez flirting with a 2-run homer. Instead, it's 3-2 now.
Well, if that had stayed fair, Nunez would have had to work on that handstand pose prior to every pitch.
He might have gone right into that if that had stayed fair.
He got one inner third and just begging to be driven. Well, that doesn't miss by much. Does it miss?
It does.
Oh yes. Well, yeah.
3-2, the runner goes, and it's a line drive to right field. In for a hit. Paredes comes up. No, he drops it now. It's first and third as the throw comes into Altuve on a single by Nunez.
No matter what's happening in the sports world, Kevin Eschenfelder has it covered with a fresh take and special guests you won't get anywhere else. Sports Talk Live, weekdays at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Now Clemens with runners on at the corners and 1 out has Robinson Cano coming up. Cano is 0 for 2. He's fouled out to third and hit a fly ball to center. Cano's bounced into 18 double plays this year. Into right field. That'll tie it 1-1 on a Cano RBI single. 107 runs batted in for Robinson Cano. His father Jose pitched briefly for the Astros.
Make no doubt, Robbie Cano is one of the game's truly great hitters. Can play second base in a very special style.
Bull Porter out to take the ball from Paul Clemens now. Chai-Jen Low's been warming up. Runners at first and second, 1 out. The Yankees have answered the Astros run, and they will get Soriano to the plate. And we'll be right back in the 1-1 game in a moment.
For a Conference USA clash with the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi. Catch all the action next Saturday at 3 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. Okay.
Thanks, Julia. Chai-Jen Low is warming up now in this 1-1 game. The Yankees have put together 3 singles here in the 6th inning. Cano tying it with his hit. Low is 0-3. His ERA is 4.34.
Left-hand hitters just almost can't sniff a hit against him. 135. Well, the right-hand hitters have done well, hitting 300. It's a combination that's kind of tough to figure. Again, I've said it many times, if you have that combination right-hand pitcher with left-hand hitter struggling, usually some form of a changeup that factors in.
Lowe, who's 26, the first Taiwanese-born player to play for the Astros, faces Soriano now. Soriano's 1 for 2 tonight. Clemens leaving after 5 1/3. He allowed 5 hits, all singles. Walked 1, struck out 4. And had a thumb problem. It seemed to complicate the inning for him. Stewart led it off with a single he has scored. Lowe delivers, and it's ball 1 to Soriano. Red Sox have clinched the best record in the American League, so they'll have home field advantage for every postseason series they play. In the dirt, good stop there by Pagnazzi, and it's 2-0.
Good technique.
The Red Sox will open at home on Friday against the winner of the game Wednesday between the 2 American League wildcard teams. Well, that Cleveland team's been going to the bullpen a lot. Terry Francona. Three balls, no strikes. Tough for Paul Clemens. He really had it going, and then the thumb was an issue for him here in the 6th inning. So the tying run is scored. I hope that Lowe can keep this game tied. But it's a walk to load the bases now. And that brings up Overbay. Overbay popped too short on a 3-0 count, and he fouled out to left.
Overbay, a guy who doesn't run well. If you get him to put it on the ground, you've got a great shot at the double play. Chai-Jen Lowe with that riding fastball. Not the ideal guy to create ground balls.
Overbay with 16 double play balls and 445 at bats. 36-year-old veteran began his career in the Arizona organization. He takes, and there's ball 1 to him.
He's a first baseman a lot of people may not know much about, but he is gifted defensively. And he's had some years, especially early on in his career, where he was just a doubles machine.
Nunez, Cano, and Soriano, the base runners, with 1 out. That's a strike, leaving the count at 1-1. Lowe really needed that one.
A couple of pitches right about the same height, and kind of a coin flip in terms of the calls. Always look up there at the front portion of the plate at the knees. It's pretty darn close.
Lowe has inherited 4 base runners, allowing 1 to score. Pretty good looking pitch, but that was called ball 2 by Vic Carapazza. And now Lowe needs something.
Apparently this one off the outside edge, at least in the estimation of Carapazza.
Overbay's been a .310 lifetime hitter against Houston pitching with 9 homers, 28 runs batted in. That's ball 3. Now 3-1 to him.
Saw Paul Clemens in the dugout. It's tough to know that you left a couple of guys on base and then watch the bullpen struggle and runs maybe coming in to score, especially when you possibly see your club fall behind in the game.
Almonte's on deck. Line drive, diving Altuve, safe at second base. Terrific play by Altuve on a smash headed for right center. 2 outs.
That's a great play by Jose. And one of those plays where there's nothing you can do about it defensively, where if you get the break that it hits on a short hop, automatic double play. It's good base running at second, by the way, to stay out of the double play. Doing what you're supposed to do as a base runner.
Oh, Clemens, an interested spectator. Now bases loaded, 2 outs. Almonte, the batter. He's 0 for 2. Cano. Oh, there's a spike throw. It gets away from Pagnozzi. And here comes the runner to score. And the Yankees have the lead as Nunez comes home. Pagnozzi was looking at the runner off second. Cano had taken a big lead. And his arm started forward, and then it appeared that he changed his mind and couldn't hang on to the ball, and it got away from him. And it's 2-1 on the error by Pagnozzi.
Wow. You're trying to hang on. You can't. You see this just every once in a while. But that's a tough break. You're getting a chance to catch. And then this happens to you while you're trying to be aggressive.
Pitch was ball 1 to Almonte. Now it's 1-1.
Close at the plate too on this play, but I think the call was correctly made there by Carapazza.
Clemens, of course, wanted the out call.
Amazing how the heart can see things differently.
What a bizarre play.
Was.
Strike 1 and 2. Well, Cano was so far off second, it had to attract the attention of Pagnozzi, and it did. And VR had actually cut into the bag as the pitch was being delivered. So it looked as if he would have a shot at Cano. And then he held back on the throw, and the ball slipped out of his hand. It's 2-2.
Let's take a peek at what Matt Pagnozzi was seeing. Cano with that big lead. And I think there's a pretty darn good shot there. You wonder, was that all intended to be a bluff by Pagnozzi? And with the hope of the runner from third base committing, maybe you get a pick off there.
Possibly.
That very well may have been the case.
Yeah. Well, VR was way out of position going to second on the pitch. That's what made it such a bizarre play, really. And then they might have had a shot at Cano, but the ball got away from Pagnozzi, or maybe it was a fake to second and throw to third, or just a fake to second and at least look to third. And the run wound up scoring on the error.
A lot of times catchers are advised, if they're going to give an arm fake, a pump through to draw another base runner to move, that you don't actually put the baseball in the hand. You throw through with no ball in hand and then quickly reach, grab the ball and throw if somebody makes a move off the base.
Line drive, Barnes out in left center field with a reaching running grab. Tremendous play by Barnes. But the Yankees in the 6th inning come away with 2 runs on 3 hits, a costly error, and 2 men left. They lead it 2-1. Achieve win number 11 of the season. Wind up with 11 wins, 11 losses. Begins the bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order due up for Houston. VR, Altuve, and Dominguez. He has that mask on, that competitor's mask. VR is 0 for 2. Showing bunt again, taking strike 1. But as we take perhaps our final look at Andy Pettitte, this could be his last inning of the night, although he's only at 66 pitches. I want to reflect a little bit more about his career and his 3 years in Houston. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. As he joined the Astros as a free agent in 04, and Roger Clemens was right there with him and gave the Astros that championship feel to their team that year. Boy, the expectations ramped way up with the team that they already had here with the Astros, and then those 2 guys joining the Astros. Well, in 05, it all culminated in the National League Championship. And Pettitte pitched very well in his start in the World Series that year, but the Astros were swept by the Chicago White Sox. Nonetheless, Andy was just tremendous. It was a shame that he got injured very early in his first season with the Astros on a check swing in his first at bat. But nonetheless, fond memories that the Astros fans have of Pettitte and Clemens and what they did in 05. And that 13-8 was ridiculous. He lost so many low-scoring games, as you can tell by that 1.87 ERA for Clemens.
Absolutely incredible, the work that Roger was doing. But, you know, Andy, just that steady guy that kept giving you great stuff. 239 is nothing shabby at all in terms of the ERA. It was a heck of a ball club. And boy, the postseason just couldn't have been more dynamic.
VR drew the leadoff walk. Don't stray too far, Jonathan, because of the tremendous pickoff move of Andy Pettitte. Strike 1 to Altuve. Altuve 2 for 2. He has one of the best pickoff moves of his era.
And not only that, but Chris Stewart behind the plate is very quick and accurate.
And Dominguez on deck. Infield shortened up for double play. And VR with 18 steals in 26 attempts. You know, would love that challenge of being able to take it to second base. Rolled out to second slowly. There's Ryan. Can't get the out at second. He takes the out at first.
Andy Pettitte obviously pitching into his 40s. You wonder how a guy is going to fare at that stage of his career. But he's fared quite well. 15 and 15 over the past couple of seasons. 3.5 ERA. Basically, when you watch him, the same Andy Pettitte you watched throughout that entire tremendous career. And the competitive nature just as strong as ever.
Now with a runner at second, it's Matt Dominguez. He grounded into a double play in the first and again hit the ball on the ground in the 4th inning. Chris Carter on deck. Cano jockeying near the bag with a base runner. There's strike 1. If you go by wins above replacement, which is a popular metric, Andy Pettitte has between 60 and 70, and that's in the range of Hall of Famers. Now back pitchers like Juan Marichal, Don Drysdale, Jim Bunning, and well above Whitey Ford. There's Reina Cruz in the Astros bullpen. Then there's the postseason work, that huge body of work, more than a full season worth of innings pitched in those postseason games for Andy Pettitte. Almost 70 innings more in the postseason than his nearest competitor, with the 19 wins. And that leads everybody in postseason.
Well, he started 44 postseason games. I mean, it's just a phenomenal set of stats. You see 44, 19 and 11. Outstanding ERA, the whip down where you'd like it to be. I don't know. You hear names like Whitey Ford and the great stuff he did with the Yankees, and you have a tendency to think, boy, he must have been the greatest of the postseason, but it's Andy Pettitte, and by a good margin. Whitey Ford won 10.
6 series clinching wins in the postseason. Andy Pettitte.
Pitch after pitch there, Brownie. Same spot, knee high, finding corners.
And a great work ethic. He really worked out very hard over the winters to get ready each season. No balls, 2 strikes. Matt Dominguez.
Talked about the Astros scoring just over a run in this losing streak. Just have not been getting the big swings. And this is definitely a guy that can provide the big swing.
Plays off that one. It's 1-2. Last night the Astros snapped an 0 for 37 run with 2 outs and men in scoring position. Now with 1 out, Dominguez tries to come through. Strike 3 call, 2 outs.
Now that's a pitch that Andy Pettitte has mastered, but if you take it from the hitter's perspective, that ball is likely off the edge. The Astros wrap up the 2013 season tomorrow against Mariano Rivera and the New York Yankees at 1:10. Be a part of history as Rivera closes out his Hall of Fame career with a special pregame ceremony. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com for your tickets.
Rivera has 42 postseason saves. That's nearly as many as the next 3 on the all-time list. You know who's second in postseason saves? Brad Lidge, 18.
Of course, all anybody remembers about Brad Lidge is the home run hit by Albert Pujols. And yet he did so many great things.
As Carter lays off it, it's ball 1 to Carter. Carter is 0 for 2, got an RBI on that ground out, scoring Altuve from second base in the 4th inning. Yankees have out hit the Astros 5-4. Houston has the only error. It was costly. 1-1. Let's look at strike 3 on Matty D.
What's that breaking ball I'm talking about? Catcher sets up away and the ball is breaking back toward the plate and still finds that away target. And so I would contend that if you looked at that at home plate, it never finds the plate and awfully tough on the hitters. And yet the umpires get stuck with that pitch that looks like, well, it's coming back and it's so close.
Vic Carapazza is the home plate umpire. J.D. Martinez on deck. Runner breaks for third. Here's a ground ball to shortstop. Ryan with the throw to end the Astros 6th. No runs, no hits, and a man left after 6. 2-1 Yankees.
Fan of the game, I am with Kevin, who's had season tickets since Minute Maid Park opened. 13 years now, you say. You've got the best signs, too. Hold up your signs, guys. Let's go Dave Clark. They've got his attention as Dave Clark just stands right there. But I do want to ask you, Andy Pettitte in the house. You were here. You sat in these seats to watch him 04, 05, 06. How do you feel about him finishing up right here at Minute Maid Park?
I'm just glad he could have his last start on the road here in his hometown. You know, Deer Park alum. I'm glad to see him here.
And what's the story behind the signs?
Well, Dave Clark, we've been there since he was the third base coach 5 years ago, and so we got to root Dave on.
Andy gave you a ball today.
This is number 22 of the season.
What a collection. All right, congratulations on being a fan of the game. Thank you, Kevin. Guys.
Thank you.
Reiner Cruz will be pitcher number 3 for Bo Porter tonight.
Reiner Cruz, that big-time fastball, and when he gets it going, 97, 98 miles an hour, and yet the opposition hitting 308 against him. That's coming primarily from the right-hand hitters. Lefties just 231. He's done a nice job in terms of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Facing Ichiro, who's 1 for 2.
Dave Clark guy is a power coach, isn't he?
That he is. Ball 1 to Suzuki. Ryder were 1 1/3 innings Wednesday night at Texas. Scoreless baseball for Reiner in that game. Popped up. Dominguez. 1 out. And Brendan Ryan will follow. Ryan is 0 for 2. The Astros will have Martinez, Laird, and Pettitte due up in the bottom of the 7th inning. And we don't see anybody warming up in the Yankee bullpen.
Yeah, I'm wondering, on the final start of a major league career, does Andy Pettitte have the ability to say, Skip, I want to go. I'm going to see if I can go CG on my final.
Strike to Ryan.
I don't know that that's the game plan, but I'm wondering if Andy Pettitte might have that kind of power play in him.
Might. 37,199 the paid attendance tonight. Big Saturday night crowd. No balls, 2 strikes. Mariano Rivera said tonight before the game, I think I squeezed every ounce of fuel out of my tank. It is empty. I have nothing left. He said he's been pitching with tremendous soreness in his right forearm for some time, but he did not want to talk about it. Strikeout for Cruz.
Well, that's a slider that could go a long way towards success.
Yeah.
I love the stuff of Reiner Cruz, and that slider painted right on the outside black.
Chris Stewart, who started the go-ahead rally with that single to right center field, is 1 for 2. Taking strike 1. Stewart's done the bulk of the Yankee catching this year. The core 4 with the guys we've been talking about tonight, with Pettitte, Rivera, Jeter, and Jorge Posada really have formed a big part of this Yankee franchise for the last 15 years or so. Well, Posada no longer part of that picture, and the Yankees are trying to solve the equation, but he provided so much offense in addition to catching. It's going to be hard for them to do that. Broken down looper. Altuve can't get to it. It's a pop fly single for Stewart with 2 outs in the inning. Stewart's 2 for 3.
It's about as far as you can hit a ball with the bat doing that. Kitchen area just got abused in that new home.
Kevin Chapman is being waved in with lefty hitting Curtis Granderson due up next. Bo Porter wants his lefty reliever. And that'll be the matchup with the Yankees up 2-1 when we return in just a moment.
Our AT&T tweet of the game. It's from Emma. She tweets, JD Martinez, thanks for the picture and letting me put a boa on you and Jared. Hashtag Go Stros. This picture was taken on Ladies Night. This is last night, a ladies only event presented by State Farm. Great crowd there. Lots of events and activities that were catered just towards women. This is what I was talking about yesterday, guys. You were not invited to this. I got to talk to JD Martinez about it. He said he had a good time. He said he was photogenic. That's why they let him do it.
Oh, yeah.
And they had that awesome photo booth you see there where they got to take the pictures.
Thank you for that. Kevin Chapman is 1-1 with a 1.83 ERA in 23 games. It's a lefty on lefty matchup. Granderson is hitting .228 against lefty pitching this year with 2 homers, but he's hit a lot of homers off lefties over the last couple of years. And he looks at ball 1.
Of course, Chapman to this point just a 118 mark against him by the left-hand hitters.
32 home runs Granderson has hit off lefties since the start of 2011. Strike there makes it a 1-ball 1-strike count. And that's tied for the major league lead in homers off left-handers in the last couple of years with Jay Bruce and Mark Trumbo. Detroit's leading 1-0 in Miami in the bottom of the 7th. It's 1-2.
Interesting that Jay Bruce also being a left-hand hitter on that list.
Sure is.
Not surprised at all with Trumbo.
Phillies are leading at Atlanta 2-1. They're in the top of the 7th. And And that didn't look very good against the left-hander for Granderson. Good work by Chapman to strike him out. No runs are hitting. A man left. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-1 Yankees. In the season finale for both teams. Astros pregame live starts it all at 12:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet. And here tonight, these fans singing deep in the heart of Texas. Andy Pettitte's home of Deer Park, Texas, just a few miles from here. Many well-wishers here to watch him tonight, and he has fulfilled their expectations.
Maybe and then some. Not many guys go this deep into a ball game this time of the year.
That's true. J.D. Martinez with a line drive to center. Granderson makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out in the home 7th for Pettitte, leading 2-1.
Let's take a look at Sunday's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. It'll be David Huff. 3-1 for the Yankees. 6.06 the ERA. And Eric Bedard, the veteran lefty, goes to the mound for the Astros. Just 4-12 on this season. 4.81 the ERA. Bedard gets that final assignment of the year.
Brandon Laird takes that pitch. There's strike 1. He's 0 for 2. Pettitte has allowed 4 hits and 1 run. The run came on a Carter ground out in the 4th. 1 ball, 1 strike. The end of a journey for Andy in professional baseball that began when he was a 22nd round draft choice in 1990 by the Yankees.
You look at that now and you think, how is that possible that a guy with this ability could last that long?
True.
Got that perfect big body size, at least for what teams like to be able to draft. Of course, didn't have the upper 90s kind of fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Funny how so much of the time when you're talking about a guy who had a great career, it's not a guy who had that tremendous fastball. It's a guy who learned how to pitch.
And this is his 438th start for the Yankees. Ties him with Whitey Ford for the most in their history. Line shot to left. Soriano in. Good jump. 2 outs.
What you got here in this inning is one of those innings where somebody from the dugout hollers out, you got him popping up. Andy Pettitte, of course, with his folks in town. That's a lot of pressure.
Jimmy Paredes has grounded out twice. He looks at ball 1. It's not a problem with the pitch count for Andy. 88. No reason to save anything. 2-0. So probably for Joe Girardi, it's very similar to the Mariano Rivera situation. What does he want to do, the player?
Yeah, I think if you're Joe Girardi, you have to listen to Andy Pettitte's wishes. And keep in mind, there is no Mariano Rivera for the 9th inning.
David Robertson got the save last night. 3-0. Agnazzi on deck. Drag makes it 3-1 to Paredes. Adam Wainwright won his 19th. St. Louis beat the Cubs 6-2. Edwin Jackson lost his 18th. Nunez tracks it down and out at first on a close call. We move to the 8th inning. Is that it for Pettitte? We'll find out in a few minutes. The Pettitte family is loving this finale. 2-1.
Receive a team poster courtesy of the Houston Chronicle. You could also win great prizes every inning as part of Fan Appreciation Day. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
Thanks, Julia. We look forward to it tomorrow. Special day. And it is a kind of a wistful day. You were talking about that earlier, Julia. It's such a great experience to go through these 6 months with everybody, and it'll be a little wistful as we say farewell for a while. Eduardo Nunez leads it off in the 8th inning. He's 1 for 3. Singleton scored in the 6th inning. He scored the go-ahead run. There's ball 1 from Kevin Chapman. Chai-Jen Low worked 2/3 of an inning for the Astros, allowing no hits, no runs, with a walk and no strikeouts. It's ball 2. Reiner Cruz 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. And Chapman came in. He struck out Granderson in the 7th. The Astros will have Pagnozzi, Barnes, and Villar due up in the bottom of the inning. Villar. 1 out.
Villar's been flawless here this evening. A little sample right there of a Robinson Cano type throw.
Yep. Cano's 1 for 3, drove in the go-ahead run in the 6th inning with a single to right field. He drove in the tying run. The go-ahead run scored on the error by Pagnozzi. Strike for Chapman. Chapman has really shown some good stuff here late in the season. Ash talked about how he's dominated lefty hitters. Fouled away. Came up from Oklahoma City August 9th. So for him, it's been almost 2 months of major league seasoning. And after going 1-2 for the Red Hawks with a 3.20 ERA, that really gave him the springboard to come to the big leagues and do well.
Invaluable, the experience of coming up, having some success here, and realizing, hey, I can play with these guys.
Yeah, and here's an organization developed player, even though they got him in a trade from Kansas City. That was at the minor league level. And a guy who could be helping this club as a lefty relief guy for many, many years to come. He's 25 years old. 4th round pick of Kansas City in 2010. Liner, and it's fair over Carter's head. Fan reaches over and interferes with it, and that's going to be ruled a double on the fan interference. Cano into second base.
Well, Robinson Cano is some kind of hitter. Fans, keep your hands off the baseballs, but look at what Cano handles here. That slider just stays down, brings the eyes close to the baseball, and keeps it fair. That is a tough assignment and so well done. What do you mean it's a fair ball? What are you talking about?
You may not have known. Soriano has a hit and a walk tonight. Taking all the way, there's strike 1 for Chapman. You know, Wesley Wright was here for years. He was traded to Tampa Bay. Well, Chapman is the type of pitcher who could supplant Wesley Wright and take it for several years on into the future. He's that lefty late inning setup man. And that wouldn't be necessarily to limit him. Who knows that he couldn't become a closer. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros have made it clear they're going to be shopping for late inning relief help on the free agent market over the winter.
Those lefties that find success hang around this game a long time.
2-1. Don't they, though?
You find some that can get that one left-handed out late in a ball game that will pitch on and on. I mean,
Greg Lefferts.
As long as you can get that big left-handed out, you're welcome back.
It's 3-1 with right-hander Josh Zeid warming up. Overbay is on deck. Baltimore leads Boston 4-3, top of the 7th. That's ball 4. Soriano takes a walk. First and second one out now for Overbay.
As that Yankees pen continues to be quiet in left center field, and you're looking at the bottom of the 8th coming up, I don't think Andy Pettitte, unless he has some struggles in the 8th inning, I don't think he's coming out of this thing.
It makes you wonder if he's thinking complete game here. He doesn't have one this year. But there's absolutely no reason to save anything, and Andy really wants to go out with a big game, and he's doing that. Mark Reynolds now comes out to the on-deck circle. Pitch hitting for Overbay, and that might mean a change to Zeid here. Well, Reynolds, a .221 hitter with 20 homers, 66 runs batted in. Brings a lot of power to home plate. Last night he started. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI. And apparently Chapman stays in to face him. Or maybe not. Pagnozzi to the mound. The Astros may want to give a little more time to Josh Zeid here before making a change.
Zeid appeared to be completely ready out in the bullpen, standing there moments ago, but looks like Bo Porter's trying to buy every bit of time that he can get. And there's no surprise as to what's going on here. Going to force the umpire to come out and require a decision.
And now Josh Zeid will be sent into the game. Chapman getting 2 outs in this game, then giving up a double and a walk. 2-1 Yankees. We're right back after this.
Remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience.
Josh Zeid was terrific last night, retiring 5 in a row.
He's starting to have more and more success. And you would think he's got a great shot at doing that with his mid-90s fastball. That split job there could be enormously big for him. 26 years of age. He's allowed just to hit an inning in his 24 2/3 innings.
Drafted by the Phillies, traded in the Hunter Pence deal to the Astros in 2011 from New Haven, Connecticut.
Not a huge strikeout guy, not yet anyway. 18 strikeouts.
Mark Reynolds, the batter, runners at first and second. Zeid 0-1 with a 3.76 ERA, 12 walks and 21 strikeouts in 26 1/3 innings.
Got a bit of a theme with left-hand hitters struggling against guys out of the Astros pen, while right-handers have had great success.
Reynolds takes, and it's ball 1.
When you look at numbers like that, you wonder, is there value to bringing in the right-hander to face the right-handed bat?
Last night, Reynolds hit a fly ball to center against Zeid. That one off the end of the bat to 1-1.
One very powerful man at the plate. And there's Mariano Rivera and Alex Rodriguez and Vernon Wells to Rivera's left. There's some big stars there lined up.
Two and 1. Zeid all ready to spend a winter in Houston. Wife Stephanie is a doctor of neuropsychology at the UT Health Science Center in Houston.
Isn't everybody's wife?
Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And they will find that Houston has a lot to offer in the wintertime. Could you believe the humidity after that rain this afternoon?
You know, I didn't even notice. Did it drop considerably, or
like it went up?
Yeah.
It felt just like.
Well, I was so thrilled about the rain. I'm a big fan.
That's true. Now 3-2 to Reynolds. Reynolds, 30 years old, from Pikeville, Kentucky, went to the University of Virginia. Big 3-2 pitch will be coming to him with runners at first and second and 1 out. And he struck him out.
That hanging breaking ball will get more strikeouts than I think a lot of players would ever believe. Slider is not where it was designed to be. And yet it hangs up there and kind of leaves a hitter wondering, do I swing? And then when you swing, it's a bit too late.
Almonte is 0 for 3. Barnes made a fabulous catch on him in the 6th inning. He looks at ball 1. Zide has inherited 15 base runners. 13 have been stranded.
Long inning here for Andy Pettitte to have to just sit.
Yeah. It's 1-1. Still no action in the Yankee bullpen. Zide had 13 saves at Oklahoma City. He was the Red Hawks closer from mid-June until he got called up by the Astros. And that was the end of July. Now David Robertson's getting up. Ground ball to second. Altuve over to Carter. Good work by Zide. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. We go to the last of the 8th inning. Andy Pettitte's coming out with a 2-1 lead.
Lock in your seats by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Matt Pagnozzi coming up first for the Astros here. And guys, as a kid, he was growing up with the game, and he took me back to 1996 earlier today when I asked him about Andy Pettitte. He remembers the playoffs for MLB very vividly because his uncle, Tom Pagnozzi, was playing for the Cards. They were in the NLCS with the Braves. They fell to the Braves, but he remembers the series. He remembers the playoffs, watching Andy Pettitte go on to win the World Series that year, and really looking forward to the opportunity to face Pettitte tonight as well. So he's very excited to be here.
He takes strike 1. He drew a walk in the 3rd inning. He got a single to center in the 5th. Pettitte leading 2-1. That was his 93rd pitch of the game. Flared foul, and it's 0-2. And a couple of right-handers are warming up. Robertson and Claiborne for the Yankees.
And you wonder if this is the plan all along for the Yankees, or does Pettitte have any shot at a complete game? He has 25 career complete games, the most that he had in a season, 1998 with 5. And he hasn't had one now since the 2 he threw in 2006.
Check swing call by Bill Miller. 1-2.
So it's been a while, and I would imagine Andy would love to bring one home with him.
High 3 call. 4th strikeout for Pettitte.
Almost nothing you can do with a pitch like that. And at the same time, when you've got Andy Pettitte on the hill and he's dealing along, you've just got to be able to expand your strike zone. And Mom able to express the pleasure. Dad is sitting there grinding away as if he was the man on the mound.
Brandon Barnes is 0 for 2. And he was asked about his son Josh, who's at Baylor, being a major league pitcher, and he said, "Oh, I don't want to put any pressure on him. If that's what he wants to do, I hope it works out for him, but just hope that he grows up to be a fine man." Two balls, no strikes.
You know, if you've played 18 years in the major leagues, you've dealt with your share of pressure. Do you want any more with your son?
Good point.
Heading toward the big leagues? Be tough.
Tougher to sit and watch than it is to compete, right?
I think so.
3-0. Three balls and a strike to Brandon Barnes. Two. VR on deck. So he's worked right through this game. No more than one hit allowed in any inning. Barnes strikes out. That's number 5 with flash bulbs popping.
You know, that pitch count probably says this is the last inning of work if you're talking about a normal circumstance. But Andy's not intending on extending this arm any further beyond tonight. So is there really a limit in place?
Wife Laura sang the anthem before, I believe, one of the World Series games in 05.
That's pressure.
Yeah. Jonathan VR is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Yeah, Vanny gets VR in fairly quick fashion. I don't know that he even has to argue the pitch count.
It all goes on how he feels and what he wants to do tonight. 0-2, the staff leader in wins for the Yankees is CC Sabathia. He finished the year 14-13. Hiroki Kuroda 11-13. Pettitte shooting for win number 11 tonight. Crowd is standing at Minute Maid Park for Andy Pettitte. Ground ball rolls out to second. Cano with the flip to first. And Pettitte with a bit of a fist pump there, showing that meaningful out to end the 8th inning. And it's 2-1 Yankees as Andy Pettitte walks off the mound. Will that be his final pitch as a major leaguer? We'll know soon enough. It's the Yankees 2, the Astros 1, moving to the 9th. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at acura.com/MDX. Yankees 2, Astros 1. These two teams played a one-run game last night. The Yankees winning it 3-2. The Yankees have the best winning percentage in the American League in one-run games, .644. And the Astros have the worst, .340. We go to the 9th inning, and it's Josh Fields, pitcher number 6 in the game for Bo Porter.
Pitcher number 6 may be next year's 9th inning pitcher. Josh Fields has had some success in this role, despite the .525 ERA. .218 that batting average against. That's an odd set of numbers when you look at .218 and a .525 earning. Walks have been an issue.
Ichiro looks at strike one. Suzuki single to right in the 2nd inning. Fields worked a scoreless inning last night. He gave up a hit to Mark Reynolds in the 9th. He moves that fastball up, and it's 0-2.
Aside from the walks, 18 of them in 35 innings for Fields. The other category that's given him a tough time, giving up the long ball, 8 home runs in that span.
Josh, 28 years old, from Hull, Georgia. Bounces the curveball. It's 1-2. Taken in the Rule 5 draft from the Boston organization by the Astros. And the Astros would like to take a look at that Rule 5 draft again this winter. Slash foul over by the Yankee dugout. Still 1-2, and they will probably think about occupying about 37 of those 40-man roster spots going to the winter meetings if it works out that way, because they would like to use that Rule 5 draft and maybe acquire some free agents along the way. But if they do fill 37 of those spots, those are difficult decisions about which minor leaguers to leave unprotected. Poke to the left side. VR far to his right. Tries an impossible play. Infield hit by Suzuki.
Look, as great as Ichiro Suzuki has been through the years, this has been a big part of his offensive game. He can slap it the other way, whether it's on the ground or little soft liners that tend to fall into left field. Once he does this, his speed is going to beat it out. You just don't have a shot. That is as good an effort as we've seen from Jonathan VR on one of those really tough plays to one side or the other.
It was a spectacular effort. He had no chance to get him, but it was fun to watch it. Now Carter comes over. Brendan Ryan the batter. Possible bunt situation here with the Yankees up by 1. Ryan is 0 for 3.
That bullpen for the Yankees has gone back to being quiet,
leading us to think that maybe Andy goes for the complete game tonight. Dominguez is even with the bag at third. Ryan has 4 sacrifices, not bunting here. The swing is called by Bill Miller, and it's 0-1.
That barrel definitely comes out through home plate.
Ichiro, 20 steals in 24 attempts this year. 0-2. Ichiro has stolen 472 bases as a major leaguer. He's been successful 82% of the time. In the air to right center field. Paredes coming in for it. 1 down. Ichiro's one of those guys, you know, you get your money's worth just watching him. He's the only guy you watch all night. He was standing there with both hands on knees watching the right fielder make the catch there. But he was into it, ready to break in case he didn't make the catch.
There you go back to that MVP season when he was Rookie of the Year as well. 2001, 56 stolen bases. He took the major leagues by storm.
Chris Stewart has 2 hits tonight, scored a run. Pitch out.
Hit .350 that year, drove in 69, 8 home runs mixed in. A mere 242 hits, and that was his introduction to the major leagues.
Nice rookie season. Some people said he's not a rookie. He won 7 batting titles in Japan. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, if they're going to talk about the combination and 4,000 hits and all that sort of thing, and maybe at some point going after Pete Rose, that becomes a good argument.
The Yes, it does. Ichiro diving back. The Yankees are certainly going to have a changing face next year. With these icons no longer part of the picture, Rivera, Pettitte. Jeter will return. Not sure about A-Rod with his suspension. Apparently there's a hearing on the arbitration of Alex Rodriguez on Monday. He's been handed a 211 game suspension, which could be reduced by the arbitrator, but if not, he will be sitting out all of next year and then some of 2015 as well. And by the time he returned, he would be, I think, 39 years old, Ash.
I wonder how much of that crosses his mind as he sits and watches last couple of games of the season.
Yeah, he'd be close to 40 if that suspension holds up. He would turn 40 in late July of 2015.
Of course, Andy Pettitte says, I felt like a kid when I was 40.
2 balls and a strike. And you wonder, you're talking about Pettitte's 255 wins last night and his age of 41, Rivera's 43. How many guys from this era are going to want to pitch that long?
I don't think many.
They're going, and it's popped up. Carter over to foul territory. The pitcher goes to cover first. There's a quick throw, but on the stretch he doesn't catch it. Ichiro had gotten back anyways. They tried to double him off. Out number 2.
Want to and be permitted to, two different things. But yeah, the guys that can stick around, that are willing to, that desire to, willing to put in the work that it takes every year, that's a small list.
Pagnozzi and Fields talk about it with Granderson, the batter. Granderson's 0 for 3 with a walk. The Astros will have Altuve, Dominguez, and Carter up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Center field, Barnes backing on it. To end the top of the 9th, no runs, a hit, a man left, and now the bottom of the 9th, and Andy Pettitte is headed out to the mound to try to finish his final major league game. Got the glove on, he's coming up the steps, and we'll see if he can go a rare complete game in his final major league start for Andy Pettitte. This is going to be something to watch as the Astros trying to snap this 13-game losing streak. Have Altuve to lead it off. He has 2 hits off Pettitte. But Pettitte has just been so sturdy again tonight. It's been the hallmark of his career. He piles up innings. He gets double play balls. He's had 2 of those tonight, Ash.
This is vintage stuff. Not blowing people away, and yet he can still slip the fastball by. The changeup will get hitters out in front. Picked up a couple of double play ground balls on the night. That backdoor breaking ball, that cutter as he refers to it, looks like a slider to me, has been pinpoint all night long. And he keeps it off the edge. He'll throw that back footer. His wife enjoying things as well as mom and dad. And then he's got guys like Robinson Cano playing D behind him. Why not send him out there? This is a shot for his 26th career complete game, and he's earned it.
David Robertson is warming up now in the bullpen, so it would appear that Pettitte will go batter by batter. Or maybe Joe Girardi just wants to see him get the big ovation of being taken out of this game. We'll wait and see how it plays out, Ed.
Boy, I wonder here in Houston if that ovation would turn into something otherwise for Joe Girardi. Because I think there are a lot of folks here in Houston would like to see, if the Astros are going to go down, see Andy Pettitte go all the way in doing it.
Last year, 12 starts for Andy. He was injured. He didn't want to leave it that way. Returning for this year, he knew early in the season he would be retiring. And now, how's he going to finish it out? He's retired the last 9. Here's Altuve, 2 for 3. And the breaking pitch comes in for strike 1. 106th pitch of the night for Pettitte. Fans are chanting. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I think this night, whether he completes this game or not, goes a long way to completing not only this season, but a tremendous career for Andy Pettitte.
Altuve to right field. Almonte with the catch. There's 1 out for Pettitte. In his first year with the Astros, he was on the disabled list 3 different times, wound up with surgery for a torn flexor tendon. Just kept going out there, throwing at lower than normal velocities, but just wanting to compete so badly in his first year with Houston. And now competing all the way down to the final pitch of his career. Matt Dominguez 0 for 3 with ball 1. We will miss these icons who are retiring. Line drive right field, Almonte. 2 outs. And the Astros 1 out away from their 14th consecutive loss. Chris Carter is 0 for 3. J.D. Martinez and Carter conferring there as Carter makes his way to the plate. Carter had the RBI on the ground out.
Ronnie, you look around the stadium here, and I think you get the answer loud and clear. Just about everybody on their feet and cheering for Andy Pettitte.
Last complete game in 2006, as Ash mentioned, with Houston. Line drive, just foul. He had 2 complete games that year with the Astros in 2006. 25 distance scoring performances in his career. Big crowd standing for Pettitte. Flashbulbs popping throughout Minute Maid Park. Strike 2.
Command is exceptional at this point for Andy.
It's electric. One ball, 2 strikes. If he wins, he's never had a losing season in 18 years as a major leaguer.
And will be the only player to do so with 18+ seasons.
Line drive hit to left field. Carter's aboard for J.D. Martinez.
Carter just simply does a great job on a tough, again, cutter, as Andy calls it, down and out over the plate. Wow.
And that is going to be a move for Joe Girardi now. He looks out at the bullpen. We'll see. He hasn't yet made. No, he's just checking with Andy Pettitte. Andy reassures him that he's fine to stay in this game.
Instant reaction by this crowd here this evening. Nice job by Chris. Sometimes you give up hits on very good pitches.
The drama of sports. How's it going to end? J.D. Martinez doubled to right in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3. Lined out to center in the 7th.
Catch that instant reaction by the fans when Joe Girardi turned and left Pettitte on the hill. Just a cheer went up.
Ball 1. This is his 9th straight start of 6 innings or more, here to wrap up his career. Ground ball 3rd. Nunez with the final out of Andy Pettitte's career. A complete game to end his career. And win number 256 for Andy Pettitte.
I just don't see how Andy Pettitte could have it end in any more of a storybook fashion unless you talk about possible postseason this year. But to come back home, throw a complete game, first one in years now for Andy, and shut down the Astros like this, this moment has got to be so sweet.
18 seasons of excellence, and he winds up 11-11 here in 2013 after the emotional farewell for his closer Mariano Rivera. Tonight he is his own closer.
You got to believe those hugs, every one of them heartfelt, and the crowd here in Houston starting to chant Andy.
Well, this is the way they do it at Yankee Stadium, chanting the Yankees players' names, and these Yankee fans are doing it here at Minute Maid Park tonight for number 46. A special moment for one of the greats of the game. Will he be a Hall of Famer? To be decided later. But he's in the Hall of Excellence, and he is a terrific human being.
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Derek Jeter. And then Mariano Rivera. And Alex Rodriguez greeting Pettitte as he walks off the field after his final major league game. No better way to go out than Rivera and Pettitte have done it this week.
Now the buzz came into Houston as the Yankees came in, and boy, Andy Pettitte has turned up the volume on that buzz.
It's a 5-hit complete game for Pettitte. Pitching coach Larry Rothschild just said his congratulations. Bullpen coach Mike Harkey. And Joe Girardi's going to push him back out on the field for one more farewell.
You know, this would have been sweet for Andy Pettitte in any stadium, but to have it happen here, just a mega dose.
And look at this. The Astros players now have come out onto the field and doff their caps to Andy, who returns the gesture to them. A rare moment. A memorable time in the 13-year history of this ballpark. One of the top moments, even though it was by an opponent, but a friend and a former Astro and a great competitor. And just such an unusual accomplishment to go out with a complete game at age 41. Big part of the National League Championship team in 05, 17-game winner that year. And these fans have not forgotten that. And now one more game coming tomorrow afternoon. And there's been so much drama for Yankee fans already this week with Rivera and now Pettitte making their last performances. What could be added to that list tomorrow? Well, we'll know soon enough. It's a day game tomorrow, but for the Astros, it's a 14-game losing streak they'll be trying to snap tomorrow. And a 15-game losing streak to end the season, that's nothing they want to be dealing with about 24 hours from now. As we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Yeah, you get some fly balls to get your first couple of outs in the inning. That one hit pretty well by Martinez. But then the final out on the ground ball after the base hit by Chris Carter. And Andy Pettitte just kind of caps it off. The career already defined him. His life defines him. But this is not a bad way to end things.
For a second straight night, the Yankees beat the Astros by 1. Tonight, the final is Yankees 2, Astros 1.